I'm back. And I'm sitting down. Usually when I go through the blue mass, I walk or I run. I was on my feet anyway. I don't know, first time this has ever happened. Oh, it's good to be back though. So I guess, hi there everybody. And welcome to the town of the Children's Corner, located in the world of the magical couch. I'm Sheriff Stephen J., the Sheriff of Slouch County. And I just got back from the world up above. You know, it's really strange because usually when I go through the Cave of Time's Blue Mass, I'm standing up, and I got back and home here and I'm sitting down, so that's unusual. At any rate, well, as long as you're here, let me tell you just real quick where I'm coming from. I was in a country called Portugal. And Portugal, if you've heard of it before, a lot of people associate it with an export of port wine, you know. But that's like one of their smaller exports. I think their number one export is automobiles. And the Douro River runs through Porto into Spain. That's the area, the region that they actually grow the grape for port wine. One thing they do export, which I didn't know, and it's a big export out of Portugal, is cork. That's right, cork, like the cork on wine bottles, those corks. Or they do a lot of other things with the cork, and I'm wearing one of them. This hat, that's right. This came from Portugal, and this hat is made out of cork. They make clothing, they make shoes, they make purses and wallets, and I mean, you name it, they make it. But this hat, you can scrunch it up, this cork, and you unscrunch it, it doesn't wrinkle. It's waterproof, it floats, and it's a very durable fabric when they put it all together. I don't even know how they do it, but they have a lot of cork trees in Portugal, thousands of them, and every 9 years they harvest the cork trees, and it's the bark around the tree going up the trunk. They can only go so far so they don't kill the tree, but they take the bark off and they mark it with the year that they took the bark, and then 9 years from that day, it takes 9 years for enough bark to grow back, and they harvest it again, and they can do this for a lot of times. But anyway, so I thought that was very interesting. Well, getting back to the Douro River, the Douro River has dams on it, and they use it for their power for the country. It's one of the sources of power. And these dams they built, they have locks. Now, if you remember, a while back I was talking about locks to you, and I described a whole bunch of locks and showed them. I did mention the Guillotine lock, which I want to talk about now. But the Guillotine lock, I showed you a picture of it. If you remember back then, that was a while back. The Guillotine lock. Now this lock has vertically moving steel gates at each end, which means up and down. The gates open upward to release water and downward to seal the chamber. And that makes it watertight, so the chamber can fill back with water. When one of these gates is open, it looks like a guillotine. But the lock system on the Douro River is quite amazing. And I want to talk to you about the first one, the Carrapatelo Dam. It's Carrapatelo or Carrapatelo, but let's call it Carrapatelo. I like that sound. And that dam was built between 1964 and 1971. And it was the first dam built on the Douro River. Now, it includes that guillotine style lock I was talking about earlier on one end of the dam. So boats can navigate up and down the Douro River between the different water levels found on each side of the dam. And they're pretty extreme. I've been through this lock as I was traveling upstream on the Douro River from Portugal towards Spain. And it was pretty exciting. As you approach the lock from upstream, or the front side of the dam where the water is much lower than the back side, you see an enormous opening to your left, which your boat will be entering, and it exposes a huge chamber beyond it. Once you get inside the chamber, the upstream lock door will close behind you, creating a watertight seal. And this upstream gate is a little over 39 feet wide and 72 feet high, weighing in at 150 tons. Once inside, with gates closed, you are sitting inside the closed chamber, which is 278 feet long and 39 feet wide. Now, depending on the width of the boat you're in, you could be inches away from each side of the chamber's walls, which is especially true if you're a passenger of a riverboat, which I might add I was. You're so close, you can actually step out onto your balcony in your room and touch the walls as you ascend. As the chamber fills with water, there are 8 mooring floats on each wall that follow the boats as they go up or down. The water level change, which floats your boat to the top of the lock, is just shy of 115 feet, making it to be one of the highest dams and locks in the world. You can look up at the downstream fixed wall of the lock and watch the water falling down from the top. It looks like a waterfall, and it fills the lock and brings it up to the downstream water level. After your ascent, a horn will blow, indicating you've made it to the top of the lock and it's safe to proceed on your journey up the Douro River. When you travel through this lock in the other direction, when you're going downstream to upstream, the whole process is reversed. You go to the top and then it lets the water out, and you go to the bottom level, and it's pretty amazing. It's a lot of fun. So if you're ever in Portugal, go over to Porto and get on a riverboat or, some boat over there and go through the locks. That lock is, it's amazing. When you look up, you're like, whoa, that's really high. Anyhow, I have some people coming over, so I really got to get going right now, but maybe I'll see you later on. And thank you for listening to me. Very interesting. Oh, mustn't forget my hat.